Hey everyone, welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star. We are getting into October, which is fourth quarter. Yay! So we're going to be taking a look back at the month of September in a few videos in the upcoming weeks. Today we're looking at plush that's sold on eBay. We didn't sell that many plush. In fact, it averages out to about one every other day. Sales are slow. I don't know what to tell you, folks. It's been that way all summer. It's been that way since the economy started to go kaput. I'm hoping Q4 will pick it up a little bit. You know, plush is the slowest selling category. It is very long tail and typically has a less than 0.5% sell through rate. But we had typically enjoyed 1 to 2 plush sales a day in times past. Now we're at one every other day, but that's now holding true with what I'm calling the new normal. So, ever since probably the beginning of the summer, maybe late spring of this year, when everyone started noticing sales getting slower, right around the time groceries and gas started to become more expensive and folks were having less discretionary income and the cost of everything was going up. We've had this discussion on this channel and in Facebook groups and in person a million times. We all know what's happening. I've noticed the new normal is about half of the volume of what we used to do. So when we used to sell, one plush a day, one every other day, I guess is the new normal. We used to sell 10 to 15 pieces of clothing a day. Now we're hovering around 7 to 8. That's a little more than half, but there's days we only do 5. Our remotes are about half of what they used to be as well. So we're considering this the new normal as far as volume. We have been sourcing higher end brands here in Florida as far as clothing. Yes, we're paying a higher cost of goods for them, but our average sale price has gone up. So it kind of averages out. So that's kind of how you have to play the game when you're a reseller. If you're a volume seller and you sell a lot of bread and butter in volume, which is what we've always done, that was the basis of our business model from the beginning, and the volume is going down, you either have to increase the volume or increase your average sale price. Sourcing being what it is here, we mostly get everything wholesale because it's a lot cheaper cost of goods. So we've kind of focused more on that higher average sale price. I did announce last weekend that we will be moving back to Pennsylvania at the end of October. So we're probably going to be doing a combination at that point. We will have access to 99-cent days at the Goodwill and a bins that I will actually go to and frequent. So we'll be able to get a lot more stuff at a lower cost of goods and build back up our volume. So this is our plan. And I just wanted to mention this before we jump into the plush, that even though things may seem slow, you guys, if it's steady, if it's like been months of the same slow, like if you went from 10 sales to 5 a day, but it's held at that 5 a day, that may not be slow sales, quote unquote. It may be a new normal, and you're just going to have to rethink. Maybe you try a different niche, a different category, aim for a higher average sale price, or find somewhere for lower cost of goods, and then you can do more volume. So we're going to look at the plush. We're going to do this a little bit differently. Usually when I go through the monthly plush videos, I kind of touch upon cost of goods and sale price and all of that. I do a more in-depth video every Monday called What Sold on eBay. That's not just plush centric. It's highlights, bolos, bread and butter from the whole week. And in those videos, I really touch upon the cost of goods and stuff. But sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself when I do the plush centric video. This is plush that's already been featured in the weekly videos. So we're going to do something new since there's not very many to go through. I'm going to play a game called Pass or Buy. Now, keep in mind, a lot of my plush, I do get wholesale. I buy large mystery boxes. I have someone in Indiana who sources for me that I pay to source for me and send these to me. So everything I get, I will list. But they're not all necessarily things that I would choose if I were at a thrift store or a garage sale or a church sale. Some of these plush, if I saw them in the wild and I was doing, buying my own stuff one by one, I would certainly pass on them. But I do list everything I get in wholesale. So what I want to do with you guys is just go through and play this pass or buy game, so you know when you're out in the wild to buy these or not. But remember, if you're buying stuff in boxes or wholesale lots or anything like that, you paid one price all in to get it shipped right to your door. You're going to find a few great pieces in those boxes that pay for the entire thing. So you may as well go ahead and list everything you got, unless it is utterly unlistable, like totally destroyed or damaged, or just complete poop, or comps so low it's not worth listing. But everything else is just icing on the cake. So always list everything you get unless it's trash. But when you're sourcing one by one, you got to be a little more choosy. So we'll start with Dandy Easter Bunny Sock Monkey. This is a pass. There's larger Dandy sock monkeys, and there's other Dandy plush that are worth more. And there's some that are differently dressed or different holidays that I would absolutely purchase. This is where it falls upon you to do your research and look through the comps and see which ones are worth it and which are not. A lot of these Easter bunnies aren't. They comp really low. They're low-end bread and butter. I call them filler. So I would tell you to pass. Except if I found this for a quarter, I'd probably still buy it, maybe even 50 cents. That's me. So this is a Walmart Your Zone cat. I would say get it if you're into bread and butter plush, if you like having volume. A lot of the Walmart plush are good, solid bread and butter. They don't fetch a lot of money, but this one sold within a week of being listed. They go really fast because Walmart, with the holiday plush or with these Your Zone plush, they'll release like certain themes, certain animals, and they're limited, and then they're gone forever. So people will pay up for them online. This is a pass. This is our generation Cocker Spaniel. There are some our generations out there that are worth a little bit more. Again, that falls on the researching and knowing your plush when you're out there, or just finding them and comping them before you make the final buy. This guy, I would always list him if he came in a box. Maybe source him for a quarter or 50 cents. BuildABear to me is always a buy, always. I never pass on any of them. Even the plain dogs, the plain bears, I start them at like $18. I often take a best offer of $16. But if I'm getting them for $1 or less, to me, that's a good flip. Any of them that are pop culture characters or special characters, I always grab. This one didn't comp as high as I thought it would. It was kind of disappointing. But that's that race to the bottom. So try to avoid that. Price things at what they're worth. I think that all Build-A-Bears are worth picking up. This is a Christmas elf. I love holiday plush. I love unique plush like this. He's not necessarily an elf on the shelf, but he is a shelf sitter, which is keywords I used here. I typically really don't pass on a lot of holiday plush unless I know they're total poop. This guy sold for $18. I mean, he weighed 2 ounces to ship. So this is a no-brainer. Holiday plush are always, to me, something you should pick up. The ones we do best with are Valentine's Day and Easter, followed closely by Christmas and Halloween. But that's not the case for every plush seller. Some folks can't move their Easter or Valentine's Day plush, but I pick them all up. Next up, Disney Minnie Mouse pass. So Minnie Mouse is way oversaturated, and anything especially that's not official Disney, Disney parks, Disney store, those Mattel and Hasbro minis, super pass. But this just plain run-of-the-mill in her iconic dress with the bow and the shoes, she is so oversaturated. She comps so low. I don't mind getting her in lots or in boxes of plush because, again, a couple of plush in a box are going to pay for it, and then everything else is icing on the cake. And also, when you average out your cost per piece when you're buying wholesale, it's not that much. But I would not pay $1 or $2 for her in the thrift. Now, if she was a special Minnie in a different outfit or from Walt Disney theme parks or something, maybe. Paddington Bear is hit or miss. So I'm going to say pass on this one. This one is small. It's only 9 inches, and he was damaged. I got him for 50 cents back in Pittsburgh a long time ago. Remember, plush is really slow most of the time. This was vintage, and I thought that even with damage, he would do well, and I was willing to risk it for 50 cents. He sat for a couple of years and sold for $12. Now, if he wasn't damaged, maybe I would say grab them. So look for Paddington Bears that are in good condition, that are vintage. Look for larger plush too. Those always sell for more. Gans for me is always a get it. I never pass on Gans. But remember that Gans Webkinz are hit or miss, and it's not always reliant on whether or not they have their code. You're going to get some Gans Webkinz home, comp them, they're not going to have a code, and you're going to see that it's a special one that sells for 40 or 50 bucks, or 20 or 18. You're going to have some with a sealed code that are oversaturated, not as popular, not as rare, that are going to comp for $10 to $12. So my rule of thumb with Gans Webkinz is if they're under $1, the answer is always yes, I buy it. And this is another, I guess, brand or type of plush that you really want to research and know what you're getting, or just comp it before you buy it. But if you're okay with filler plush and bread and butter, and you can get your plush at low cost, I always grab Gans. Even the ones that comp low typically sell faster than other plush, so they have like a higher sell-through rate than most plush. They don't sit long. They do still have folks that are interested in them and that collect them. Here's another Gans that sold. This one you see $24.99. So this is an endangered one. This is a special Gans. Doesn't have a code, but he still comped a lot higher because he's that special signature endangered Gans. So keep your eyes out for those as well. This, I would say, always get. Anytime I find any kind of unique plush that's a backpack, a purse, a coin purse, or anything like that, I do grab them. I've been disappointed a couple of times where I get them home and they only comp at $10 or $12. And I've been wildly surprised. I've had backpacks shaped like bears and turtles that have sold for 30, 40 bucks. So I typically will always grab them if the price is right. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I'm out in the wild and I'm thrifting plush one by one, I don't comp a lot of the ones that I'm familiar with. When they're new to me or the price is really high, I will comp them and see if they're worth getting. But for the most part, a lot of the plush that I see over and over again, I just grab it if the price is right. Anything under $1, I typically won't even comp. Anymore, though, it's getting to where plush are priced at $4.99, $3.99, $8.99 and up, at the thrifts. So even I'm comping the ones I'm familiar with, ones that I know that I normally would purchase. I'm just double checking because the prices are going up everywhere. But these unique purses and things, backpacks, kids do like. This is also a Target. I know Target is a very popular brand with a lot of people. And again, it's one of those things where it's only out for a limited time and then it's gone. There are kids who lose their plushies or damage their plushies, and parents go online to replace them. So these special edition plush that Target and Walmart and Walgreens and those types of places put out every year, sometimes they're worth it because somebody needs a replacement plush. This is a Peppa Pig dinosaur, so I would always say get these. I love pop culture characters. Any of the characters from the shows on Disney Junior and Nick Jr., PBS, I find do really well. A lot of them are going to fall into that middle ground of bread and butter, but they move a little more quickly because they're more popular, especially shows that are still popular. Like Paw Patrol has not lost its popularity. Those do really well. The Doc McStuffin characters, Peppa Pig. But again, this is something you have to be okay with selling for 15 bucks. If you're not in it for bread and butter and you don't have the storage space, because again, plush is super slow and you have to have the patience to wait for the right person to come along and buy that plush. If you're going to be the type of person that gets the plush, comps it, and it sits for 6 months and you're dropping the price 50% just to get rid of it, you probably, one, don't have the patience or the storage to be in the plush game. And two, you're contributing to that problem of racing to the bottom because you're impatient. If you are an impatient person, plush is not for you. You are waiting for one person to come along that's willing to pay this price for this plush. And if you're not patient and you race to the bottom, you can ruin the market for everyone else. Tough love. Aurora baby whale, absolutely grab it. Again, this is bread and butter. But anything that's marketed specifically for babies or infants, I love to grab. Loveys will comp a little bit higher than this whale did. But I like anything for babies. And if you use keywords like baby, soother, this one had a rattle in it, Lovey, they can move pretty quickly. Most can go for a lot of money. Some will comp a little bit lower like this. This is something I would not say pass on. I kind of went, because I see the price it sold for. It is Mickey Mouse, and just like his counterpart Minnie, he is super oversaturated. So again, you only want to grab special ones. This is an NFL. You can see his tag. He's dressed up like the Steelers. So yeah, under $2, I would absolutely say grab this. Any more than that, probably pass. And then last up, we have a Hallmark itty bitty. So I used to grab these itty bitties all the time because I used to find them at the Ben's in Pittsburgh, and I used to find them at church sales where you could stuff a bag or get a plush for 10 cents. You know what I mean? And so to me, they were worth flipping. But even the really popular ones, like now this might be worth a little bit more money in a couple of months when the live action comes out of Little Mermaid. So you always have to keep that in mind too. Keep an eye out. Keep your finger on the pulse of the pop culture, I always say. Know what movies are coming out, what sequels are coming out, what's being released on the streaming networks, what shows are popular. You have to know all of that because it can increase the value of certain characters, certain plushies and stuff. The itty bitties I now avoid. Now that's not to say I would tell you to pass, but that's not to say if I didn't find a whole bin full of these at the Ben's that I'm paying by weight, I wouldn't buy them all. I wouldn't buy them one by one unless they were like a quarter or less, because you can see they only sell for about $10 to $12. Shipping keeps going up. So it's kind of becoming where these aren't worth it anymore. They used to be, but so that is this episode of Plush that sold on eBay, the passerby version. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about plush or reselling in general, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to join our Facebook group. You can talk about plush and all things reselling in a very positive, supportive atmosphere in our group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. There's a link in the description box for you to use. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already to our channel. It helps us feed all our hungry hippos and supports what we do here on YouTube. And hey, go be productive. Go make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all are the best. Bye.